Okay, so a while back I posted a picture of my feed room with all my food laid out in front of my nice little signs. I need to fix that one. I didn't have my good paints unpacked yet. And a couple of people have asked me about what it is I feed my horses because they thought, oh, that food looks great in the picture, and it really does. That food, it looks like I would put milk in it and eat it for breakfast. So I thought I'd do a quick little video of what I feed them. So I feed Cavalier brand. It's what's popular around here. I fed Blue Seal at my last barn, and around here everyone likes Cavalier, so I researched it. It's good stuff. People have noted it looks great. It's a lot of sort of whole grains, whole foods, not a lot of processed pellets in there. So I like it a lot. I feed my guys their Endurix mix, which is of their feeds, I think it's the lowest in protein. The others are sort of designed for horses that are doing explosive kind of burst energy things like jumping, which we're not doing. Over here it's all trail rides, dressage, rehab. So the Endurix was a sort of good slow burn energy source for them. So most of them get 1 or 2 scoops of that. Then I have the Fiber Force, which I mix right into it for a couple of reasons. I like to make sure they're getting fiber. They were getting Timothy hay at the old barn here. I have fresh pasture, so they're getting hay and grass. But if they tend to prefer the grass, I worry a little about their fiber levels. It's not like the sort of thick, stocky stuff they get from the hay. So just to make sure they're getting fiber, I throw the Fiber Force chopped forage in there. Also because Savannah has in the past made herself colic because she sat there with her hay for the full half hour before breakfast, thinking to herself, I don't want this, I'll wait for my grain. And then the grain arrives and she bolts it down and suddenly stomach ache. So because I can't explain that to her, it's nice to have forage right in the grain to sort of ease it up on the stomach, make sure they chew longer. It really makes them salivate more when they're eating too. Like at the end of each meal when I pull their feed pans out, I use the big rubber dishes there. They're wet on the bottom actually from how much the horses were salivating and licking the bottom and all that stuff. So I like to see that. I worry if their mouths are too dry when they're eating, that they're dehydrated or not chewing or what have you. So the only one who eats a little differently is Toncho. He's still really skinny. So I add in the Lucerne Farms High Fiber Gold, and he eats Whole Gain, which is also from Cavalier. The High Fiber Gold, it's the molasses-free version. Not that, if he can't have molasses, certainly it won't make him fat or anything. But I like that this one has soybean oil, so it is higher in fat than carbs. And I'm trying to put him on a lot of fats right now so that he doesn't get too hot. If I just keep giving him carbs and protein and he starts burning off all that energy, he's just not going to gain weight. So the High Fiber Gold has soybean oil. The Whole Gain is a very high-fat food. So he gets the two of those mixed together with a little bit of the Endurix. And I also give him this Sunshine Formula supplement. That's from Blue Seal. It's what I was feeding Savannah when she went through her big growth spurt when she was when she's like 18 months old, I guess I did that. And a little after she just turned 2. But she's slowed down a lot with her growing now, so again, protein will make her hot, so she doesn't get as much protein. It's the last thing we need is more energy in Savannah. So I make 2 meals together. I make dinner and breakfast, so I can throw dinner later, and breakfast is ready in the morning when I'm half awake. So there's Bishop, the smallest portion. He's an easy keeper. He'll get fat if he looks at a round bale for too long, so he just gets 1 quart Endurix, 1 quart Fiber Force, and the powder you see in there is just his little digestive supplement. Toncho, bigger portion. He has the Hi-Fi Gold. He has 1 quart of the Endurix and 1.5 quarts of the Whole Gain. The other reason he gets so much of the chopped forage, the Hi-Fi Gold, he gets about 2 quarts of it. High-fat foods tend to give horses loose stool if they're not getting enough fiber, so I really want to pile fiber in there. And then Savannah, she gets 2 Fiber Force, 2 Endurix, and then just a little bit of Whole Gain, because again, she gets skinny at the drop of a hat because she's hyper, but I don't want to add more carbs, more protein, give her more energy to burn off all her food. So the little bit of Whole Gain gives her bonus calories without giving her bonus energy. So that's what those guys eat for grain. And then I mentioned there's fresh pasture, they're getting grass. But of course, I also give them hay. So in addition to the round bale out there, Bishop gets his 1 flake before breakfast and before dinner. I like to set it up before I bring them in, so it's right there for him. And I do like to open up my flakes and really shake them out. Some people just drop the flake in there. I like to open it up so I can see exactly how much hay is in there, how dense is that flake, make sure there's no like bits of twine or anything in there. So that's Bishop's one flake. Sancho's a little different. Again, he's skinny, so he gets 2 flakes with his breakfast and dinner, and 1 flake from a compressed bale of alfalfa. You can see it right. He likes to dunk his alfalfa. So what I do is I open up the 2 flakes of hay, shake them all out, and then I take the flake of compressed alfalfa, and I shake that all out. You can see kind of some chunks on it. I shake it on top, and all the powder from that compressed bale gets into the hay and makes it, very appetizing. He wants to really dig into that, make sure he doesn't leave any of his food on his plate, because he's scrawny, he can't afford to. And then Savannah, she's at the end here. Savannah has a hay net, which the others don't. I don't tend to use hay nets, but the vet warned me before when she colicked that she might be prone to ulcers just because of how she tends to kind of bolt her food and be always kind of uptight. So she has the hay net so that she eats more slowly. She's picking at it all night long, so she never has an empty stomach. Her stomach acid never has time to sort of chew away at her. She's always nibbling on something. And she likes to leave the stalks. She'll eat the leafy bits and leave that fiber that's so good for her. And not only will she leave it, she'll shovel it back and pee on it. So she's made her preferences clear. But if it's all in the hay net, she does eat the stalks. For whatever reason, she kind of eats it as it comes from the hay net. So that's been a lot better for her. And like I said, they're all out there. Toncho's by himself right now. I've got the round bale, and then because Toncho is skinny but also still not politically on the ups with the rest of the herd, I do throw him out a couple flakes of his own to eat in the corner when Bishop's being a jerk and won't let him near the round bale. He's standing by the water though, so Bishop hasn't cornered all the resources. But yeah, they'll spend the day out there. They'll go back and forth between the hay and the grass. And at dinner time they'll come in and eat the forage I've got in here and have their dinner and all that. So that is what I feed my horses. Oh, and treats. They get treats. I have a lot of good treats. Stud muffins, German muffins. I like the big squishy treats. Okay, that's what they eat. Yay.